Good morning. It is Tulin. I am so excited I really am. This is not like a typical live where I go, hey, it's Tulin, and I'm really excited to talk to you about today. No, I really am genuinely very, very excited. I always find it a tremendous honor whenever I'm asked to speak. Hey, Chelsea and Janina. Whenever I'm asked to speak to the network or to groups or on team calls, and it means the world to me. Never in a million years did I ever think that my crazy story and journey would lead to being able to make a difference in other people's lives by sharing mine. So today, I am talking to you about going all in on the daily, and I'm going to reveal some brutal truths about that, because I'm going to bet that when we look at somebody and we title them with they go in all in daily, there's zero excuses, etc., but we think that there's a level of how do I say it? Ease, simplicity, that they don't have struggles, that they don't have things to overcome. And I'm going to tell you exactly what it looks like, and I'm hoping that it will. Where are you, Shred Nation? It's going to be gold. Yes, Shred Nation, get on here. I see Team NSV's on here too. I love that. Anyway, but I really want to show you the behind the scenes. So here's the thing I'm going to tell you. I am very much myself on live and on video because I think it's so important to be my authentic self. But I really want you to know that what the behind the scenes looks like, what under the hood looks like. Now, I warn you, I'm a little bit long-winded in what I have to share, but I'm telling you, it's well worth it. And if at the end we have some time, I'm happy to ask any questions. However, I ask that you hold your questions until the end in the case that we have the time, because there's no way I'll be able to scroll back up. So all that being said, I want to talk to you about what going all in daily looks like. And I actually made some notes, which is a rarity that I've made notes in my chaotic organization of a bullet journal, which I will bring up here in just a little bit. But what does all in really look like? All in can look a lot of different ways, but I'll do some things that will describe how I do it. All in for me is that I've learned to leap and learn to fly on the way down. Meaning, I finally had to learn that I had to stop trying to figure out all the answers, had to stop trying to figure out the perfect system, because I realized that I was living in the fluff. And I love this. Hold on, I gotta shout out Dave Ward. Thank you. Tulin, I love that. So I was living in the fluff. So by learning to leap and fly on the way down, right? So notice it's usually like leap and learn to fly on the way down. Well, y'all, I had to learn to leap one and then learn to fly on the way down. I found that what I always like to do, or what was comfortable for me, was to really stay in the busy, stay in the research phase, stay in the what's your magic shots, what's your tricks, what are the shortcuts, and it was keeping me back from actually moving my own needle forward. I spent a lot of time on my face. I will tell you quite honestly, I spend a lot of time on my face. What does that mean? That means I fall on my face often. That means I fail a lot. That means things go wrong all the time. That means things don't go as planned. But here's the deal. Even when I fall on my face, I'm still moving forward. And I learned my greatest lessons in those moments. So yes, I am constantly falling down. I'm constantly having to pick myself back up. I'm constantly filled with negative chatter and things that tell me that I can't go all in today, or it's a waste today. That is my old way of thinking, and it's still a pretty strong voice inside of me, although I've learned to quiet that down through activities that actually, interestingly enough, through the vital behaviors, because the vital behaviors have forced me to get into the personal development, forced me to start taking care of my nutrition, forced me to start taking care of my exercise, things like that. And so that's another one. I've also learned in this process that we hear a lot of things we already know, right? That we've heard over and over again. And we think, well, I'm not learning anything new. It's just the exact same thing. Well, here was a big clue. If I keep hearing the exact same thing that's working for people that I look at and I admire, and I'm not doing it, then that's probably a pretty clear indicator that I should probably start putting that practice into motion. So let's use personal development as an example. If people are sharing their best practices, and I am not, and it's common, right? Like lots of leaders are reading personal development. They're plugging in their ears first thing in the morning. It's very, very important to them. Some people, preach skill set and mindset. But if people I admire, who I see doing amazing things in business or in life, are taking this activity, and I keep hearing it over and over again, then I might want to consider indulging in that activity. So the reason why I say that is I find this often. Kareem, can I have my prop? I find this happening often. And this is something, again, that I had to overcome in going all in. So I want to tell you like what it looks like for me, right? So I'm going to use this example. So somebody will tell me their system or their thing. And this is before I was kind of going all in. So they go like this, right? So here's a hat. Here's a rabbit. I have props. They pull the rabbit out and they go, here's the rabbit. This is the thing. I know it's a rugged rabbit. It's like 40 years old. Here's the rabbit. You know what most people do? What else you got in there? And they're like, but it's the rabbit. And we keep going back and looking in the hat. That was another thing I had to learn to overcome in going all in, because I didn't want to have to do all the work, and I didn't want to take personal responsibility for all the crappy things that were going on in my life. I was expecting others to fix it. I was expecting life to correct course, and it was so weird. It wasn't happening. It goes along the lines of the saying, like, where you focus, energy follows, or whatever that saying is. I'm sure you guys will know and write it down and correct me on that. Well, that was the thing. I kept putting my energy and focus into waiting for the world to correct and to give me the right system and for luck to happen. What's the saying, Kareem? Luck?
Luck is what happens when opportunity meets preparedness.
Luck is what happens when opportunity meets preparedness. There is nobody lucky in this business. There's nobody that's figured out the way, the secret sauce. Nobody's keeping it from you. And that took a lot of work on my part to realize that that was the case. So in order for me to go all in, the first thing I needed to do was take a tremendous amount of personal responsibility for the situation that my life was in, to realize that even when you hit rock bottom, there's about 40,000 other layers of rock bottom, but it's a hole. And either I can keep falling into it and breaking through every single layer, or I can stretch my arms and legs out as far as I can and say, stop, this is it. This is my bottom. I'm not going any further. And you'll probably still drop a few more layers, but you understand that you have control. The light at the end of the tunnel is a flicker when you're in a really deep struggle, when things are tough, when you're broken, homeless. That light was off more often than it was on until I realized it was just at a distance and it was flickering. It's a mindset shift. It's the realization that if I want a difference in my life, if I want a difference in my business, I am responsible. Yeah. Big, 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 big mindset shift. So I don't want anybody to be fooled to think that I came in here with luck, that I just got it, that it came simply to me, and I don't want you to ever look at anyone else that's doing something that you're doing and ever think those things. Look at the rabbit, stop looking in the hat. When I stopped doing that, I began to go into different layers of all in. I did not get to where I am in this business without going into new levels of all in on a daily basis. When I got away from what I thought it was supposed to look like I'm going to use my bullet journal as an example. How many of you guys bullet journal? And I'm not saying this is the way to go. I'm just going to use this as an example, okay? People who bullet journal, there's two types of people I think who bullet journal. People who are highly, highly, highly organized and like lots of colored markers. And people who would love to be organized but are more considered chaotically organized, or organized chaos, there we go, or organized chaos. So the post-it notey people, the their house is a mess but they can find everything, like those kinds of people. Well, they're both organized, but one of the things that I felt that paralyzed me when I came into this was, well, first of all, I grew up in a house that was highly organized. I actually grew up in an all-white house, all white, pearl white actually to be exact. all white, all white, all white. I eventually became a raging anorexic. I know, tough to imagine as a plus size health and fitness motivator, but yes, I became a raging anorexic, and my mother was probably taught Martha Stewart to be Martha Stewart. That's how organized things were in our world. And I just wasn't that person. And the less organized I was, the less I knew the steps, the more of a loser I felt like. And I'm just being really honest. It's probably where the anorexia came from. It was a sense of control, and it was also trying to fit into the media standards of what beauty was. And I was always been a tremendous introvert, didn't have a lot of friends. I was called antisocial by my parents. And I just really, really struggled with this feeling of being an introvert and not knowing that it was a character trait and not a flaw. It took me a long time to figure that out. Thank you, personal development. And so when I was looking at this, everybody had these amazing systems. And I tried to put these systems into place, and I was falling all over the place. Like, I just found myself so busy in the busy, but not doing in activities that were moving the needle forward. And so recently, the bullet journal came into my life, and this has been a godsend because sometimes I'm really good with it, sometimes I'm not. But everything that I've been through, every event I've been through this year, any notes I've taken from any calls, daily to-dos, everything is in this book. So this book represents a lot to me this year. This book represents tangible ability to continue to move forward. That this shows me that I didn't have to be perfect, that I can be messy, that I didn't have to have a system in place, that I was willing to tweak, that I was willing to listen to what somebody had to share. Introverts unite! Willing to listen to what other people were willing to show me, share with me, and that I could turn around and show them my work. And that's another thing that I find that has really, really helped me with going all in. I have learned, and I'm a chronic reinventor, I have learned in Beachbody that Beachbody has given me a system of steps, whether it's our vital behaviors or just the basics of the business, is all figured out for me. It's all figured out for me. I don't have to go and reinvent that wheel. Can you share what journal you use? Oh, it's the bullet journal. It's literally, just look it up, bullet journal. You'll see it. It's the Lynchfield, whatever it's called. Lichtenbach and something. I don't know. I'll post it in here later. Oh, I just squirreled, darn it. There you go. See, I go on lives and I forget what I'm talking about. What was I saying, honey?
I don't know. Squirreled me out of it.
We all squirreled. Oh, okay. So systems. Okay. So here's the thing that I learned. So I didn't have to go and reinvent the wheels for the stuff that already works. There's stuff that already is figured out that we can plug into the system. But for those of us that are afraid to do activities that move the business forward, what do? We stay busy in the trainings, right? We stay really busy during the day. Well, what I found was not to go and reinvent things that already been created, but to go ahead and plug those systems in. And I also learned this. This goes back to thinking, if you hear something you've already heard before, instead of saying, I already know that and shutting down, but saying, what can I learn from this, right? I've learned that when I have someone who is an expert or has a system or has a characteristic or has something that I look at that I like, I would love to learn that. So they're an expert in that thing. And when they say, here's the rabbit, I take the rabbit, I don't look in the hat, I plug in the system, and I go back to that person and I show them my work. Not the millions of notes and millions of pages I took, actual action. And I love that and I value that. And I'll never forget, it was actually very, very recently that somebody did that to me. Somebody who's well accomplished in the company who came back and said, here's what you went over with me, here's what I applied. And not that she was expecting me to go back over all the things that she had done, but to show I valued the information that you provided to me, even though it was outside of my comfort zone. I went in and went all in and I trusted your system and I plugged into it. You can tweak it later. You don't know if it's a good system for you or not until you try it. Remember, even if you fall on your face, you're still moving forward. And so this concept of going all in that sometimes people have, I want you to know is a complete mess. It's not because they have every single step figured out every single day. And I want to say this, it comes down to the why. Oh gosh, here she goes. She's going to talk about the why. I get paralyzed when people say, define your why. It's the only time you will ever hear me shut up, like not be able to say a word unless I'm in a place with a lot of people that I don't know. And then I, for some reason, I'm at a loss for words. Introverts unite. So you ask me my why, I would get paralyzed. Well, what is my why? What is my why? And I'd overanalyze and overanalyze it. So I'm going to give you an example of how I'm driven into going all in on a daily basis. I've talked about plugging into systems. I've talked about the vital behaviors. Wait, all stuff we've heard before because it works. Because it works, right? I also found that when my anxiety was high or my depression or when things become overwhelming, and I don't like to use the word overwhelm, but I'm just use that word here in a moment, that things become overwhelming. My old life, when life got tough, I went to bed. So comfort to me was to remain the same because I knew at least what the outcome was going to be. And it was like a warm, unmade bed on a cold, rainy morning. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like that's comfort because I know what is going to happen and what I'm in control of, and that the warm, unmade bed is there for me. But nothing changes. And so as I was going through this process and I was looking at this, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. It's not going to help me to move forward in my business. But all of us want to stay where we're comfortable and the things we know, and our business doesn't grow. So I'm going to give you an example of, for example, okay, so I average 100 SC points a month consistently. Did I always get 100 SC points a month? No. Did I always have a high social media following? No. I started somewhere. Every single month I started at zero. When I started in this business, I didn't have a warm market because nobody wants to hang out with the broken homeless family. If you don't know that story, that's the truth, how we started. Nobody wanted to hang out with the broken homeless family. I didn't have a social media following. I was told what I do was bad for plus size women. All these different things, all these different opinions that were coming down on me, telling me why I couldn't be successful. So going to bed was an easy place for me to go my entire life. So when things got tough, okay, Keyshawn Graves, I love you because I love my corporate peeps, but not wow, amazing. Because we can't portray that as being unbelievable or wow, but that has to become more the norm because I firmly believe that every single company in this business has the ability to do that and more. Absolutely. Is it necessary? No, but I absolutely do believe that each one of us has the ability to do that and more. So I find it amazing because I'm seeing more and more people able to do it. So when things get really, really tough, you guys, for me, it is not like as an introvert that I don't go and have a month, weeks, or days where I completely shut down. That is my old habit. It does not go away. It still exists in my world. However, I have learned through practice that I can quiet the voice and that I'm in the driver's seat and that I have the ability to get back up and be the change that I want to see, which forces me to go back all in daily. Daily. And it looks different every single day. So let's go back to this 100 SC points, right? So now you've heard that I have days where I recoil, that I have moments that, or weeks or even where I get burned out and I just want to stay in bed and I don't want to deal with people. Like I'm just kind of at my limit in life. It still happens, but it doesn't mean that I'm not willing to get back up and go all in daily. When I hear somebody, I didn't know that 100 SC points are possible. I didn't even know 50 SC points are possible. I didn't know what was possible in this company until I started showing up at events. And I know we hear this a lot, but events really help me stay all in daily. Why? One, the energy. Two, I never look at any single person in this business, not the number one coach last year, not the number one coach right now, not the 15 stars, not the millionaire company coaches, not any of them and go, oh my gosh, they're lucky. I used to think that way. Oh my gosh, they're lucky, or I could never be like them, or oh my gosh, that's impossible. All I say is, look what's possible. That is such a massive mantra to me because I don't play the comparison game. One of the ways that I stay all in on a daily basis, I put blinders on. I don't care what you are doing in your business on a daily basis. Am I happy to swap systems or share information? Absolutely. But I really don't care what you are doing in your daily business activities, or I get disengaged with my own. I have to be very selective in how I do that. But events are key. I don't care how broke you are. I don't care how crazy it is. I don't care if you can't get a babysitter. All things that I experienced myself. Yet somehow we figured out a way to get to events because we made it a priority, and it was scary. But I knew if I went and I did it, that I was going to get something out of there that I can go and plug into. And every single coach, I'm not only inspired by the coaches who are absolutely at the tippy top of the business, and trust me, they didn't get there by luck. They busted their butt. I'm also very much inspired by those coaches who have their first challenge pack sale, who completed their first day one in their workout, that attained Emerald or SC Club for the first time. I'm very inspired by those people too, because they are taking action. So for me to stay all in, it's really, really important for me to always see what is possible. I may not know how to get there, but I know somebody has gotten there before me, and I know it's possible. I'm visual that way. So to give you another kind of visual, my very first summit that I went to, and you said at the celebrations and things like that, I was way up in the nosebleed, like right there. Like I would sound like this. I was way up there. And every single summit, I've sat closer and closer and closer to the stage. This year, I get to sit in a lead. And this year, I get to go and see what's possible for me next. It drives me. I no longer use this mindset of seeing somebody else be successful and stealing from their energy, whether they know it or not, directly or indirectly, by saying something negative to myself, about myself, or saying things like unbelievable. No, it's not unbelievable. It's amazing, and it's possible. Look what's possible. It drives me. I'm competitive, don't get me wrong, but I also very much believe in a team atmosphere. You see, I'm a Scorpio. So when I give you my heart, I give you all my heart. I'm not the other end of the Scorpio, although, sometimes I'll sit back and wait to strike, but it's rare. I have learned that if I want to remain control and remain all in, that I have to understand that I am filled with fault, that other people are filled with fault, that we don't know how to deal with situations until we eventually run across them. The most important part is we've learned how to pick back up and keep moving forward. Again, even if we're falling on our face. I refuse anymore in my life to wear my story in my body, which has caused me to be over 350 pounds. And I refuse to ever give my power away to anyone, any circumstance, anything. Now, I know I mentioned my why before and being paralyzed by it. And what did I do by that? It's so scary to me that I don't even want to finish that topic. Here's the deal. My family has lived in the second apartment that we live in right now since we've gone broken homeless. The first apartment had mice, mold, the whole nine. The second apartment was redone, but it was redone in, like, you watch one of those quick flipper things, and it's like, wow, I can't believe you put that paint on the wall, but that's going to look good for the first 5 minutes that people walk in, or live there. Okay, that's where I live. But we have stayed put in this place, rebuilding our lives from nothing. Destroyed credit down, what was I down to the 300s? Something like that. My credit crashing down to 300s. Furniture here is still furniture that we picked up from garage sales or Craigslist. Our very first couch, I'll never forget, we got it, spent 150 bucks, bought it from frat boys. Who knows what went on that couch or was in that couch, and it looked like a cat had scratched down all of the vinyl, the fake leather. But that's where we started. That's where we started. I have this tremendous why, that despite our credit issues, despite the $100,000 in debt that we took on, May 26th of last year, my husband nearly passed away, that my kids deserve the home that was taken away from them, deserve a backyard to play in because they're not allowed to play outside, and they deserve a mom and a mother and a father that refuse to allow anything to ever stop us to get our family back around a table with 4 chairs. I have a dining room table and no chairs. Does that mean I'm not successful? This is what the road to success looks like. This is what the road to success looks like. It's not about the brands. It's not about the things. And I'm not saying that that isn't important to people. Trust me, as finances get better, I start buying some nicer things too. But I'm very, very humbled by it. And I am very committed. We are so committed as a family that we refuse to build the house we live in, the apartment. We refuse. And in July of this year, I will never tell my kids I can't again. In July of this year, you got a big why, it makes you cry. And the last year, my kids will have that house. It'll be a rental, but somebody will trust us to rent. Somebody will see our story and realize that we are worth it. And somebody will see the fighters that we are and say, that's who I want in this beautiful home. We just had our eviction cleared off of our record, which is a huge thing. But being judged by a number again and having somebody, a property manager, tell us that pretty much we were losers. Even though financially we're doing so much better. I'm like, I talk about success and changing your life all around the country and on lives, and I inspire other people. We're good people, don't you see that? No, I was judged by my number, which is no different than being judged by your scale or the size of your pants. I could have gone to bed. I could have went back to what was comfortable. I went all in even harder. And so regardless, I will build a team that will see the vision of this and join me and lock arms with me, and I will work 10 times harder than anyone else, speed of the leader. And when that person says, I'm going to work at the speed that you are, I hope that they excel past me in their success and their abilities and willing to share and teach to other people. That is success to me. So what is my why? My family moving into that home. The home we choose. With a property manager we choose. And you know what happens on that day we move in that home in July? My husband and I will high-five each other and we'll get back to work. That's where the real work begins. When we sell a challenge pack, that's not where the work ends. That's where the real work begins. That's our why. Our why is constantly evolving. Our why is constantly changing. For me, going all in on a daily basis, when I'm in a period of growth, I cannot have the kind of balance that sounds good. When I'm in a period of growth and I'm willing to go all in and the family knows why mom and dad are working as hard as they are, why we're doing this, the kids begin to understand. It becomes their journey, their path to. My kids have learned to overcome obstacles, not just because of what we've gone through on a daily basis in our lives, because they see us go all in regardless of the obstacles that are ahead of us. I will never put up a flowery post saying, I know everybody else is having really, really high SC, but that's just not me. And, I'm just really happy I helped a life. Do not ever downplay the strength that somebody else has pulled in to make that difference. There is no one way to Beachbody. There is no one way to build this business, but how that one person decides to build this business works for them and it doesn't work for you, but that's okay. But we don't have to push down to elevate ourselves. And sometimes we don't recognize that we're doing that because we're trying to elevate ourselves, but we need to make sure, but that's not my jam. It doesn't have to be your jam. Share it from a place of not putting the other thing like, I can't, that's just not me. I'm going to do it this way, but come from a place that empowers other people and inspires them to know that there's no one way to Beachbody. It's not that everybody has to come in and have high SC points every single month. It's not. Some people have lower. Some people have less SC points and convert more leaders. Some people have higher SC points and don't. it takes longer for them to convert leaders. What is the difference? Aren't we all going to the same place? So I don't compare. Some areas that I really, really, really focus on and help me really, really stay connected and making sure that I continue going all in on a daily basis, again, is not only personal responsibility, but what keeps me up late at night. What keeps me from sleeping what keeps me from getting a good night's sleep, basically? What keeps me up at night? I would love to have the perfect systems. If you ask me what my systems are, I tell you I keep it very, very simple. I tell you that I keep my systems very, very simple. I don't believe in overtraining. I don't believe in giving people brand new things to do when they haven't done the basics on a daily basis. I know what it's like to build a foundation on Swiss cheese. I refuse to do that for other people. Beachbody is simple. It's not easy, it's simple. Do these steps and move forward. My posts, my typos, posts, whatever, are filled with typos. I squirrel on lives. I am perfectly imperfect, and I'm perfectly happy with that. I show my lumps and I bumps. But what keeps me up late at night? And when I have something that keeps me up late at night, that's the area I need to go and work on. I need to tweak. I don't need to redo. So I may take a system and plug into that system because an expert, right, in that thing has given it to me and said, this is what's worked for me. I'm going to plug into that system, and if I need to tweak it, I'll go and tweak it. But the thing that I need to work on on a daily basis to help me stay all in is to go in on that thing that's keeping me up late at night. So one of the things that were keeping me up late at night was my challenge group. And I do run a large challenge group because I know somebody's going to ask me, well, how do you manage that many people? I'm not here to manage people. I do not have an employee mindset. I am here to help people stay accountable, to pull out their inner badass, and to learn how to get on their own 2 feet and progress in their journey and not expect me to help them every step of the way. So much so that I used to show a modification for every single exercise, and I realized that I was coddling and not coaching. I'm not here to manage people. I am not a corporation. I'm done with the employee mindset, right? I am an entrepreneurial spirit, both in my fitness and in my business, and I teach other people to do that too and to embrace their inner badass. That's what I do. I'm not here to manage people in their business. Either you do or you don't. I'm not a body dragger, not in fitness or in business. You have to be willing to take the simple steps on a regular basis and be able to show your work, not for me to correct it, but to show I took what you had to say, I put it into action, here are my results. What's next? That's who I want to work with. That's who I want to work with. Not the people, not that I don't want to work with them, but people who continue to dawdle in their fear. I want to work with people who are willing to fall forward and fall flat on their face. That's my dream team. And I have people on my team that are exactly that. It is not about speed. It's about being able to get better and better at what you do. And you don't know that it's adding up to anything, that going all in on a daily basis is going to continue to evolve if you continue to go on your journey. What I do today in my health and fitness to lose the weight that I'm working on losing, I cannot do the same activities at the same rate a year from now and expect the same growth. I can't. I have to evolve in my fitness. I have to continue to grow and be all in and evolve in that ability on a daily basis. I'm very, very committed, and I've heard Jeff Hill talk about this a lot, about going from good to great. I'm really good at a lot of things, but I can't think of a lot of things that I'm great at. So I want to take the things, and not I want to, it makes it sound like I'm taking actions. I'm taking actions and the things that I'm good at, and I'm working at becoming great at them. I celebrate, embrace my non-scale victories, the things that I am getting better at, that I am moving from good to great in, and I had with reckless abandonment. With reckless abandonment. I am not worried about what anybody else thinks. If I know that I'm good at it, I'm okay with standing on my own 2 feet and saying I'm good at it. And your opinion on whether I am or not is not important to me. It only matters on how I feel about this journey. And that allows me to stay all in as well. Somebody asked about getting as many SC points as I get and things like that. And how do I find those people? And I think that's a totally different live. But I will say this to you. I get so many more no's than the average coach. Why is that? Because this business and helping me go all in means that I am always talking to new people. Always talking to new people. Now, I will admit to you, which sounds like an amazing problem to have, and it's not, but my success in getting to average of 100 SC points, which means that I have found a system that if I do this much work, that this is the result. Well, I found I was a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. Because if I was really saying, if I was doing what I was saying, then I would not remain at my average. And if I was really about helping people, then I have to find a way to help more people and to give better care to those that are already in my system. If I am averaging 100 SC points a month, I am not growing. Is that necessary to go to business? No. Am I telling you to go do that? No, I'm not. But I'm telling you that I am blessed in the ability to drive into my inbox enough people for me to get SC 100 on a monthly basis. And if I really want to help people, I'm not going to feel ashamed any longer at the fact that I happen to have a large drive of people coming in. But here's the thing that I realized. I wasn't reaching out to people and inviting them to come work with me. And you know what happened? And I just literally started doing this past week. I started reaching out to people and inviting them to come work with me. And I went, holy goodness gracious, I'm going to double my SC points. Because I never went out and invited people. And I had people tell me, I'm in tears. I needed somebody to tell me that this was possible, that change was possible. It was willing to take my hand. I needed to hear this from someone. And I went, oh my gosh, here you go again. How do I go all in? Well, I'm going all in and making sure that I let people know that they are invited. Are they still going to say no? Absolutely. Are some people going to think I'm a jerk and tell me off? They should, because I was a complete jerk when I started in this business, and I deserve that. But when they do that, I get a smirk on my face, and I go, I can relate to that. I started there too. There is no too big for me. I go all in on my no's. All in. And I get a lot of them. Woke up to a big batch of no's this morning, but in the past several days, I woke up to a big batch of yeses as well, because I remain consistent and persistent in my business since day one. We're now sitting at 96 SC points. My goal by the end of this month is 150. But I can't reach 150 unless I'm taking better care of those that I'm working with, and those systems have been going in place as well. So I'm not saying you got to do 100 SC points. I'm just using an example. So take 100 SC points out of your mind if that's that thing, right? Whatever that is for you. But I have been blessed, and I have a purpose to help people, and I will help people. And if somebody on my team wants to learn how to be able to do that, damn straight, I'm going to teach them how to do it. But they got to do the basics and the fundamentals first, because I cannot run this business unless I stay in the fundamentals on a daily basis. So each and every single no that I get, here's the one thing that each and every single one of them have in common, and that's fear. And I dig into their fear. And I don't dig in their fears as a manipulative way, not by any means, because I've got to know them. I've got to know their goals, and I've got to know their struggles, and I understand why it's important to them, and I understand why we have to link arms and move forward together. That we are responsible to see, I'm on a journey too. I don't put myself on a pedestal. I don't allow people to look at me like I've got it all figured out. I tell them up front, I'm on this journey too. I'm just a few minutes ahead of you. I find that every single no that I get is always directly based back to fear. Fear of wasting your money. Fear of quitting. Fear of the opinions of others, because success is scary too, because when you start getting results, that will scare somebody off and drive them back into where they were. The second that people start to notice they're getting results, that always shifts people up, and they'll go back. They'll gain the weight back. No matter what it is, it's fear. And if I can tell them I tell every single person about 30-day money back guarantee. I present, how many people a day do you present the business opportunity to? If you and I cross paths and we talk, you know about Beachbody Business. If you and I cross paths about this amazing product that we have, you know about 30-day money back guarantee. And if we cross paths, you know why Shakeology is a cornerstone, and I make it a non-negotiable. Every single person I talk to, anybody who's a part of my team who's on this page, they all got the exact same rules. Why? Because I can't half coach, and the talent that I do not have in an area that I'm strong in, I don't know how to teach them in a way that didn't work for me or other people I've worked with. So I give them total solutions in the challenge pack and Kickstart most often. By the way, what percentage of those do you think are Kickstart, Cream? All access Kickstart?
70-80%.
Yeah, my husband says about 70 to 80% of those are all access Kickstart. The other thing that helps me be able to go all in on a daily basis is I have the full expectation and hope that I have a lot of doors that slam on my face. Crazy. I have this thing that I want, okay? And it's not my words, it's Erin Salem's words, and I don't know where she got it from, but I love this. When I hear something, it sticks with me. So I've got try before you modify. That's kind of my big mantra that I'm sticking with right now from Chris Downing. And then there's this idea that we set a goal, that when we set this thing that's really important to you, the universe is going to challenge you a lot, and it's going to force you to practice. Listen, the simple act of moving into a home that we're going to rent sounds pretty simple, right? I cannot tell you how many times the universe has forced things in front of us, shut doors on us that only made us to go back and correct course and take care of the things that maybe we hadn't taken care of. So now we can go in and be stronger. The door that was slammed on us was not just a door. It might have been a castle. What's those drop door thingies? Like imagine like when it slammed on us, it shook our world. But that door needed to slam on us. Because of that happening, we were able to create a checklist. We need to take care of this. Yes. My credit score has gone up 180 points. 180 points. I would not have gone to do that if the door didn't slam on me. So I embrace and love when doors shut on me. This was not the way I lived my life. I used to live in a fear mode, and shut doors would scare the crap out of me. But when doors shut, I know that it's with intention, that it helps me course correct, and I know that the universe has got to pull things out of my world or shut the door. I'm going to get to where I need to go, but it's not going to be the way that I planned, and not necessarily in the system that I put place. A lot's going to be revealed in that process. It's going to force me to practice, but when the right door opens up, it's going to lead me to right where I needed to go, which is often where I wanted to go. The path to whatever goal it is that I have, I know is going to be filled with boulders. I know it's going to be filled with things that are going to be put in my way, and every single one of those obstacles that are put in front of me, I have learned to jump over, tunnel under, walk around, that I have a way that is important enough for me to get there. And if enough people have showed me what's possible, I've plugged into the systems from the experts, I stopped reinventing the wheel, I take the time and I realize that I am personally responsible for my own success. Doesn't come easy. Luck doesn't come without, what is it? Preparedness and opportunity meet creates, right? Is that the deal? I can't remember sayings clearly, all right? That it's all up to me. It's all up to me, and that we are filled with people on a daily basis that show us the way. And if we keep our blinders on to other people in the sense that, well, in the comparison game, that's where I put the blinders on. Okay, so my blinders on the comparison game, but when I'm laser focused on someone and somebody tells me something that works for them, I'm going to listen and I'm going to put it into practice, is how I go all in on a daily basis. Filled with fault, filled with fear, filled with the unknown, filled with an ever-changing why, but an unrelenting desire to never go back to where I was. I don't focus on what I don't want. I only focus on things that I want. And I'm willing to work hard every single day. And when I falter and I fall, I'm willing to pick myself back up and keep going. Whether it's my fitness and awakening, whether it's my business and I'm having moments of weakness, but I'm willing to keep moving forward, which forces me to go all in on a daily basis. I hope that was helpful. Yeah. That was 40 minutes. I told you I'm lengthy. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I don't know how long I'm supposed to be on here for, but I just kind of went with my heart, and I had notes. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you don't, I think that was it.
Give it a minute, because the live is catching up.
Creams, my husband said the live is catching up. Or was that helpful? And please don't tell me that you were inspired. If you have taken away from something from this and you're gonna go put it into action, I'd love to know what you're gonna put into action, and post it so that other people can see that. If you are constantly taking and not filling, listen, the more you help other people on this journey, I can't help other people, I have to focus on myself. Be 100% selfish so you can be 1000% selfless. So when you receive, make sure that you deposit. It'll come back to you. What do you say to people who won't fall on their face forward? You know, Chelsea, it takes practice. It takes practice. I think that we've been either watching shows or we've had examples around us or unrealistic expectations and don't understand that. I mean, I go back to the baby. A baby can't just come out of mama and learn how to walk. There's a process. There's a process to everything. And so it's understand. For me, failure is a data set. In order for me to get better, I have to fail. It doesn't mean that I suck. It means that I did what I thought it took to get there. And instead of throwing my hands up and saying, I quit, I know what it's like quitting. I want to know what it feels like to not quit. And that's kind of been my other big thing. But I had to learn to embrace failure and the trips and the falls. You know, people are going to leave this business. I went through that last year. I had people that were going into my downline and telling people to quit and go sign up underneath them while my husband was dying in the hospital. It's going to happen. I bless and release them. I've forgiven them. I don't know their journey. I don't know their struggle. I don't know what drove them, but it's what happened. It made me a better leader. In 6 months, I rebuilt my business and hit elite 5-star. That had to happen for me to get to the next level. Those doors had to shut on me for the right doors to open with the right people. But everybody that's been in my life was the right person. They were right for that moment. They were right for that moment, but they can take no power away from me anymore. I don't know if you can share the video or not. Let's see. Hi, Tutu, which is, by the way, my nickname. She knows that. What are your best tips on helping challengers actually start and, more importantly, finish? You know what? I think we have to remember how we started in anything that we start, and in any fitness or whatever it is, and that it's not going to go exactly from point A to point B. It's going to look more like a bowl of cooked spaghetti. And we may have an expectation that they have to go 30 days all the way through, but that person may take 60 days. That person may fall on their face and not be able to get back up and get into that warm, unmade bed for 5 days. or 2 weeks and have to come back to it. But you know what? They came back to it. So how people actually finish doesn't necessarily mean that it has to fit in those 30 days or exactly as you have laid out. As long as they progress and they go back. So they went back into that same group after they've completed it in the way they need to complete it, they will do it again better and hear things that they weren't ready to receive before. And they will do better than they did before because of the results of them walking through it. I can't tell you how many times I have crawled through a vat of molasses to get to my goal, my weight loss goal, as an example. Yeah, coach. Yeah, Chelsea said, coaches, customers who are moving aren't moving and comfortable waiting to be hand fed. This is the employee mindset, and let me just tell you something. There's nothing wrong with the employee mindset. It's the mindset we've learned. It's the mindset we've learned. But I'm going to say this because it's a whole network of people. If you happen to have an upline coach, or if you found somebody that's like your adopted coach, they don't even know it, right? And they're teaching you how to do something, it's your responsibility to go and do it. Nobody's going to hand feed you your success. When you're an employee, you check in, you have these things you're responsible doing on a daily basis. When you're an entrepreneur, it doesn't happen that way, but we have to learn to get to that point. And when we're being hand fed stuff and we're not doing anything with it, it's not shame on them, it's shame on you. Your coach can take zero credit for your success and zero blame for your failure. Zero. But if you've been given the steps and you're not taking them and you wonder why this business isn't working for you, it's because you're trapped in the busy or you're not being consistent and persistent. I did not get to where I am right now, and I'm not going to get to where I want to go without continuing to be consistent and persistent and getting better and willing to grow, either in building leaders, in my own leadership, and how I'm helping other people. If God's giving this ability to have people come to my inbox asking me for my help, who am I to turn my back to them? And if that results in 100 or 150 SC and I help make a difference in other people's lives, I have zero shame in that. Zero. That has been my purpose. That is my gift. And when somebody hands you a gift to go move your business forward, it is our personal responsibility to go and put one foot in front of the other.
I have a question for you.
What?
Here's somebody, Chantal said, let's talk about the months where you had everyone slam those doors on you. I want to hear how the top coaches overcome the months stuck in SC2 after sending 100 invites, struggling big time and need encouragement. Okay,
that was a long question. But what do I do? What do successful coaches do when they have those down months? You work harder. You work harder. There's this idea of working smarter. I can't learn to work smarter unless I'm willing to work harder to begin with. I have down months. I have months that I have more returns. I have months that are a struggle. I have months that I have to talk to 4 or 5 times the amount of people to get, a quarter of the results, you know what I mean? Or half of the results. But you know what's happened? I planted a seed with every single one of those people. The difference is I don't look at that and go, whoop, I had a bad month. Your business can't flow unless you're willing to work hard in the ebbs. We spend more time in the struggle of a business than in the success of it. Because see, what happens is we forget when we hit that success point, we forget how much work and all the drudgery and everything. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's in a company you work for. I don't care if it's a business you run. I don't care if it's in your health and fitness. We hit this point and we think, oh, we don't have to do that anymore. You got to keep doing the stuff that got you there. Because business in life is never always going to be this safe and secure environment. It's up to you to keep working towards it. So when I have a bad month or things are tough or when I had to go rebuild my team, did I have my hurt feelings? I did. I actually love these women and I was shocked, but it was what it was. I think it's important to feel. I felt the way I did. I went through the different levels of, being upset, etc., feeling betrayed, blah, blah, blah. And then I got back to work. So in those down months, I'm willing to put in more time and work harder. The efforts you put in today, you're really going to see the results of those in 6 to 8 weeks from now. Not my words, something that I've heard, and something I live by. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm not being yelled at because I'm actually, I know that I've been going for a while. But if Keyshawn doesn't mind I'm answering questions, I'm happy to answer these questions. Lots of questions. Hold on. When you get objections, are from fear. How do you get down to their fear? Because I know every single one of them are fear. All of them. It's fear of failure. It's fear of something. So if I'm going to say this again, I love this, and I literally have had this plugged into my ear since my very first time of actually starting to build a coaching business. Okay. Overcoming Objections, part 4 and 5. Find it on YouTube by Barbie Decker. I know she's Caleb right now, but when you go into searches, Barbie Decker. Okay. She does a really good job in those 2 parts, and I literally have those plugged into my ear. When somebody says no to me, I just had a no this morning going, okay, I've got him. Okay, I'm just scared. I'm not going to do it. Oh, you bet I'm going to be getting back in touch with her. And I'm going to get back in touch with her and remind her of, first of all, here's the deal. Fear. Fear of money. Fear of anything. I don't care what it is, that no is fear. And oftentimes it's fear of wasting their money, right? If it's fear of wasting their money, I'm going to remind them of the 30-day money-back guarantee. I'm going to remind them why they felt this is important. And the other thing that I'm going to end with on that conversation with them is I'm going to ask them, are they willing to trust me for 30 days? Are you willing to trust me for 30 days? Oftentimes they'll come back and say, yes, I will trust you for 30 days. And if you give them your best and you give them all your best material and things like that, and they quit after 30 days, it's not a reflection on you as long as you've known you've done all you can. We are not the perfect fit for everyone. Oh, okay, cool. All right, Keisha. And do you know why I'm willing to do this? Because this network has given so much to me. And if I can help one person get to where they are right now into whatever atmosphere that they want to get in this business by taking the time and doing this, if I can fill somebody else's bucket because so many coaches filled mine, I love doing this. This is what I love. We are Team Beachbody. This is what we do. We give our best. There is no secret sauce. There's nothing else in the hat. I gave you the rabbit. I gave you the rabbit. Did I mention also that right now I'm 260 pounds and I've been a coach since I was over 300 pounds?
350.
Yeah, 350 pounds. Susan says, you say everyone in your path will know here about Beachbody. Do you follow general script? Oh, girl. Script. The answer is not in the script. The answer is not in the script. Let me repeat this again. The answer to the success in your business is not the script. And I'm going to encourage all of you to stop asking about the script. And I'm going to encourage all of you to understand that you've all had, and it's not directed at you, Susan. Trust me. This is just an in general one. Because if you haven't asked it, 100 other people are going to. Trust me. The answer is not in the script. The answer is you. They are coming because they want to connect with you. The product is secondary and tertiary, right? It is you. It is trusting you. It doesn't matter what I say. Because how I say it isn't going to be the way you're going to say it. So, what happens is do I have content that I put out that I give to them that is consistent? Yes. Do I use scripts? Yes. I want to make sure every challenger that comes into my group knows about the coaching opportunity, knows about the 30-day money-back guarantee, that they know what the rules are, that a challenge pack is required. Because I want, when I look at my coaches in the eye, when I see them out and about, or we finally meet each other at an event, or whatever it is, that they know that I didn't make an exception for someone else because they trusted me. So going back to the script. So when it's things that it doesn't make sense for me to continue to rewrite the same information, I do. You know what else I do? I also let them know that everybody is receiving this information because I want to be fair to everyone and that everybody knows exactly what's to be expected. These are the things that are expected from you to receive what it is that I'm going to give to you. But we are a collector of scripts. Now, you did hear me say plugging into a system. Plug into a system. But I'm going to encourage you guys to stop looking at the answers in the script, and I want you to start to hear what it's about. It's being your authentic, transparent self. Do not continue looking for other people's words. And if you find other people's words, don't copy and paste it, because on a subliminal level, that person knows it's not you. And if you're hung up on the right, I have no idea what the right answer is. I have no idea what the right question is. I run the risk of bumming somebody out on a daily basis. But if it kind of sticks to them inside, maybe they don't come back and work with me, but maybe they come and work with you. And you need the frequency from me, right, and a few other people to get them to the point to where they said yes to you. I have no FOMO, zero. Well, of course not. You get high SC. I've had no FOMO since I was broke and homeless.
Explain what FOMO is.
Fear of missing out.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's great, to adopt other PS coaches and help them out if that's your path. For me, I'm on social media on a daily basis. I'm on here on a daily basis. However, I have to put some boundaries on who's in my groups, because if I didn't, I would have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in my group, hundreds and hundreds of people who weren't willing to put the skin in the game. And the other thing that I do too, that I make this really, really important, I'm sure I have people on this call who've gone through that, is if I have somebody who reaches out to me because somehow they think the grass is greener on my end, and they tell me the reasons why, well, my coach doesn't do this and my coach doesn't do that, and I tell them the same thing. Your coach is responsible, is not responsible for your success, and can take no blame for your failure. And have you had these conversations with your coach? Your coach is there because they loved on you and they want to be able to help you. Have you had this conversation? 9 out of 10 times they haven't had the conversation with that coach. I send them back to their coach. Social media, all this other trainings, things like that. But we have a responsibility to those that we work with. And if we're not the right fit, that's okay too. But oftentimes people don't have the conversation with their coach. What do you suggest when an excellent, hardworking, dedicated coach comes to you, frustrated, sad, and talks about quitting? Where do you direct them to? PD, focus on their why. I'm going to use my son as an example, my 9-year-old. My 9-year-old son, so both my kids won their divisions in basketball, which is really, really cool. My 9-year-old son, I told you guys, can't play outside here. He's not allowed to. We don't have a backyard. He does run around at school, but he's not the fastest, doesn't catch a ball well, certainly can't make a basket except on occasion. So here he is out on the basketball court, and we've taught him to be the big man, right? So he's tall, he's strong. We taught him to be the big man. Put your hands up. That kid puts his hands up all the time, and he learned to put his body over the other kids, and they would crumple. I literally had like 5 or 6 Instagram stories of my son being the big guy. We say big hand, he put his big hands up, this 9-year-old, and I had literally 5 videos of kids just crumpling to the ground, not because he hit them, or if he did, he was always willing to, he was the first one to put his hand out to help them back up, but these kids would just crumple at his size. They couldn't get around him. And so he went to, it was the night before their playoffs started, and he went to practice, and my husband was there, and he was telling the coach, I quit, I quit, I quit. He told his dad, I don't want to do this. So we walk in the door, and Dad says, show him the Instagram stories. And so if you don't know about my husband's story, he has multiple sclerosis. I just saw him run for the first time a couple of weeks ago, literally over and over again, like a giddy schoolgirl in a Nordstrom's and at Fashion Island. Running on concrete is a big deal because I've seen him move his legs quickly on sand so he can fall back down to his knees. But this guy was literally running in flip-flops, I think, something like that. Well, we're in the Shift Shop test group. And so my husband can be very, very strong, and there's times that he can be very, very weak. And when his legs start to give out with him on his MS, let me remind you, he lost the ability to walk for 2 years when he went broken homeless. And I catch video of him when he doesn't know I'm doing it, and he's struggling, and his knees are turning in, and he's falling down, he's getting back up, and he's using the wall, and he's literally scooting up the wall. I say, we don't quit. We don't quit. And we show him because we're the example of not quitting, but we fall on our face. My husband falls on his face and falls down every single time he works out and gets back up every single time. My son didn't quit. My son didn't quit, and they won the playoffs. And he had the best 2 games he's ever had. He was the strong, big man, and he embraced his strengths. He is so dedicated to basketball, he can't wait to go back in. So we are often ready to quit right before the thing is about to happen. That's when we're ready to quit. When we recognize that quitting point is coming in because we're at that threshold of our ability and we're just like right there and I just don't have an extra. If we're on the verge of drowning and we're underneath the water and we can see the surface, do you stop trying to swim? You wouldn't stop swimming. You wouldn't give up. And in that very last moment when you're about ready to give up, that all it would take for you to extend your hands so you can feel the wind on your hands outside of the water. If you would have quit, you wouldn't have gotten there. I often find when I'm ready to quit or somebody's ready to quit, it's right before their greatness. When you get objections, okay. Oh, I answered that one? Okay. So I think I answered all your questions. I think I did. I hope this was helpful for you. I also want to go with the flow with what you guys were talking about. Yes, I'm committed to going all in daily. I know what it's like to quit. I have now had the feeling what it feels like not to quit. I used to be a chronic quitter. I go all in and I do the things that I must do on a daily basis. I stay out of the busy. I stay out of the fluff. I don't compare. When to give you an example, Ashley Molstead is killing it in Success Club points. Do you think for an instant I'm looking at myself thinking that I'm inadequate? Ashley just showed me what's possible. And then I went and I looked and she figured out, let me tell you something. Don't ever think that because her picture went viral, that it was easier for her. I know lots of people who've gone viral and did nothing with it. She had, I don't know her story, this is just my assumption, she had to figure out a way to help people that came to her. And I'm going to guess that the month that she got 500 SC points or whatever, a crazy amount of SC points, right? I'm going to guess she didn't have a system in place going how to handle 500 SC points today. I'm going to guess she had to pretty much figure that out. I'm going to guess that she moved forward by falling forward on her face. I'm going to guess that she screwed up a lot. I'm going to guess she didn't have the answers. And I'm going to guess that she figured it out in the process. And she stays transparent and real and authentic. And she doesn't have the answers, but she's getting the answers every single day, and she continues to evolve. She has taken something that's happened and had to bust her butt to make that happen. Even somebody who went viral, it's not easy for them. And she's been consistent. So I look at what Ashley's been able to accomplish, and I go, look what's possible. Look what's possible. Is there a competitive spirit in me? Absolutely, because I want to do better. Because Ashley showed me I can do better. But it does not negate my greatness. It does not negate my greatness or my ability to become greater. It is so easy to compare. It is so easy to listen to other people. If you really, really are having a rough day, go look at on any page. You're going to find somebody else is having a rough day. You guys will connect. You guys will be like magnets. Like this, right? Well, I guess more like this. You're just going to be like, oh, yeah, it's really crappy. Yeah, it really, really sucks. Yeah, it really, really sucks. But when you're having a bad day and you go and you connect with somebody who's higher leveling at that moment, it forces you to get out of the negativity, and it forces you to level up, because you have a responsibility to them not to drag them down. And number two, they're not going to let you do it. And I guess, first of all, to yourself, actually, if I were really counting, put the numbers in the right direction. But I'm terrible with numbers. You have a personal responsibility to level up. I go all in on a daily basis because I am willing to level up. I used to be the Debbie Downer, the pouty Patty, the negative posts, the unsupportive spouse, all those things. I even followed the mindset for a while when I was part of kind of the plus size mafia, as I like to call it. If you really, really love yourself, you don't care if you exercise or what you eat. Yep, I was a part of that mindset too. It all revealed my purpose. Anyways, you guys, I hope that was helpful. I think I've been on here for about an hour, which is not uncommon, but I'm willing to give you everything I have because this network has given me so much. And I'm so grateful for every single mentor, like I said, from the person who sells their first challenge pack to that first time emerald, to the 15 stars, to the millionaires, to those who are pushing for it. I'm just so inspired. I just am so grateful that so many people were so willing to share their best and their answers. And it's because of that that I learned not to look in the hat anymore. And I learned personal responsibility. I learned about personal development and learned to embrace my quirky greatness. Or at least what I love about it. Anyways, you guys, thanks so much.